What's good, my people? Flash Beats back for another video, man. All right, so we have it. Um, the WNBA's 1 o'clock game, first matchup, which pitted the Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever versus the New York Liberty. This is the second time these teams played each other, I believe, in a row. Listen, Caitlin Clark balled out today, man. She really went out there and showed why she was selected #1 overall. I was thoroughly impressed with this game. She went out there much more comfortable, even though they threw great players on her. Who's the girl they play on her primarily? Lainey Hamilton. Very, who I hear is a top defender in the league. I could tell just looking at her style and her fundamentals, and the way she plays on defense. Caitlin Clark is very much more comfortable. She was, I'm not gonna lie, scoring a lot more when Haney Smith wasn't on her, but that's what you're supposed to do. When you see their worst defenders on you, attack, and that's good. That's what you want to see. All right, so now as far as Coach Sides, who people really need to give more of a chance, talking about firing a coach after friggin' 1 game, 2 games is stupid, right? A coach has to kind of first assess who they have, and then figure out what their strengths and weaknesses are, and then put together a game plan that's best for them, and you see it's working out. What the coach Sides decided to do with this game was to put the ball in Caitlin's hand, speed up the tempo, and see how that works. And we saw a lot of positive things from that. Clark was able to get 8 assists, which is very good. If you can average that for a year, you'd be close to leading this league in assists. But really, she should have had close to 15 assists, honestly. The players around her, it needs work, all right? They lose by 11. They were down over 20. They were down by over 20 at certain times. So, they're not going to beat the New York Liberty. New York Liberty is like a top team in the league. They boast some of the best players. Brianna Stewart, I see what the all hype is about. She has outside game, inside game. She can get to the rim. She's long. She plays defense. She's a beast. There's no doubt about it. They have defensive players. They have shooters like this Anescu. Very good. Now, what the Fever have to do, man, they have to figure out their building blocks and then build around it. All right. Certain things they have to do from the rip. Number 0, Mitchell. They had the guard that's in the back court with Caitlin Clark. Mitchell is a disaster. Now listen to me. Mitchell has 17 points. I hear you. But Mitchell is a disaster. They're either going to have to move her to the bench or they have to upgrade there. I don't know how trades work in this league. I don't know if they can do a midseason type of thing. But next year, they cannot go with Mitchell and Caitlin Clark in the backcourt. Clark has to have the ball. She has to have people that she can set up well. Mitchell, I don't know what the thing is with her. I kind of see what people talking about where she doesn't kind of go to Caitlin like she probably should. But sometimes she's trying to show the type of point guard she could be. You know what I mean? And right now you don't really have time for that. If you're the Fever, you need someone that's kind of going to work off of Caitlin. Aaliyah Boston, you keep her. I know she's having a rough start to the year, but no, you keep Aaliyah Boston. You know she's talented. You know she can score in the post. The problem is she was going up against some beasts. Liberty, their center Jones, they have 14 points, 12 rebounds. Like that, that's just a monster. And then you got Bria Stewart as the forward. The powerful. Aaliyah Boston has no chance in that situation because when she's down low, she's going up against those two monsters. That's really, I believe, has more to do with her rough starts, who she's went up against. You want to give Caitlin Clark all of these excuses because she's going up against Dejanay. And here against Smith tonight, right? Or Hamilton tonight, excuse me. And then they throw in a number of different defenders at her and so on. Trust me, the second person they're scouting is Boston. Because Boston is your defender, is the rookie of the year last season. But Caitlin Clark showed the vision, showed the scoring ability, skill set, and if you could see what the coach is talking about oftentimes when you're blitzed, it's best for her to, they need to call a screen. She can run around the screen. And sometimes if 2-pointers are there, take them. Personally, I think she needs to stop the logo threes. I think that those are just something you should try once or twice a game. It's just not a high percentage shot. But if she wants to make that part of her game, if sometimes she can do that before the defense sets up, we'll see. That she has to live with that. You go out there, you go, 0 for 6 with threes just because you're taking logo threes. That's on her as a player. She's just going to carry that. Personally, I don't like those. But other than that, man, she balled out and showed why she was taken #1 overall. She's smarter. She's one of those players that's blessed with the passing gift. She's blessed with the ability to see the game. She did some Magic Johnson type shit out there, but you have to have players around her. Now, how do you build around her? What you do, you keep Aaliyah Boston, of course you keep Clark. Now, they had this other player, number 14. She has a name that there's no way I can, Fag Now, I know she made some mistakes there, right? But that's a girl you keep as well because she's giving you some defense. Right? She's able to give you little 8 points because she's a kind of roller and a cutter. But those are the type of players I would suggest you keep. And then you got to kind of fill the roster with dogs that play on defense. I was having a little back and forth with one of the Caitlin Clark fans earlier today because I made a comment about the player Dejanay Carrington. I said that she is very marketable. And if you're Nike, you want to market somebody like that. He comes on, he says, she's a trash player, this and that, and so on. She only averaged 6 points a game since she's coming to the NBA, and I'm trying to explain to him her history that she was primarily a bench player, had injuries last year, so on. A number of injuries, right? That's the main reason for that. But if you look at her game, she's a two-way player. The point is, those types of players are valuable. What I would do is you take Caitlin Clark and you surround her with Dejanay type players, others that have that type of skill set that she needs. In other words, defensive wings who can hit 3-pointers, who can cut to the basket. That's what she needs. Who have good size, who have good length. That's what you do. You put that around Caitlin and you put that around Aaliyah Boston, and then you need one more creator. You need a 2-guard that can shoot jumpers, standing jumpers, catch and shoot, and can create their own shot. You do that, I believe the Liberty is a competitive team next year, without a doubt. Without a doubt, it's not like a long-standing fix, really. Because I believe in Boston's talent. Oh, yeah, and the other thing, you got to add a power forward that works well with Aaliyah Boston. Right, you got to. You need a power forward that works well with Aaliyah Boston. They were able to get a little bit better work, like I said, when they had number 17 in there. Not number 17. Number 17, yeah, I don't know, it's a disaster, too. Number 14, for Bentley. I'm sorry if I'm messing up her name. But they were able, when they had Leah and her in there, they were able to generate a little bit better paint because you gotta dominate the paint to a certain degree. Like if you're so weak in the paint, you can't. Now with the Boston, what I will suggest is she probably has to get in a little bit better shape. Maybe I don't know, maybe lose a couple of pounds or whatever. If that's what causes her to be in better shape, because sometimes she gets a little outworked and out hustled. But she could just be going up against some extraordinarily beastly individuals as well. If you look at this sister that she's going up, Jones is very long. You know what I mean? One of those types of people. 14 and 12, like, those are the type of players, man, that the Fever needs. If you put somebody with that type of skill set next to Aaliyah Boston, you add a couple of wing defenders like that could do what like Carrington does, and then you add you add another creator on the team that can get their own shot, and then a strong bench that comes in and plays defense, that can shoot, a couple of dogs, because some of the players they got on the Fever, they need to just be on the bench. They're not totally useless, but they just need to be bench players. You know what I mean? So all in all, man, good game for Caitlin Clark. She showed the flashes. Showed why she should be marquee. And quickly, one thing I want to say too, there's a number of people who, during the whole excuse-making time. See, because one thing I'm not going to do, I'm not going to sit here and make a bunch of fucking excuses, right? I'm not a hater and I'm not a fanboy, right? Haters, what they'll do is when Caitlin plays well, they're going to just find ways to criticize it. Well, she did this, she did that. Like, she turned the ball over too much. But that's not all her fault. The part of that is the players got to rise to her level. Part of that is she does have to adjust to the speed and understand that some of these defenders are going to get to the ball. So part of that is her, and part of that is them. But that part, that's going to fix itself. Magic Johnson used to do that shit a lot until the Lakers got to his level. Jason Kidd, same. Those types of passers, those gifted passers, the team has to kind of get to where they are. So I don't. That ain't nothing, right? But I'm also not a fanboy to the point where when she doesn't play well, I'm not going to blame everybody but her. I'm not going to blame sides. I'm not going to blame refs. I'm not going to blame the other team. I'm not doing all that. I expect her to play well. As far as winning goes, this is not the season you judge her based on the wins. The team is not going to win a lot, especially when they play these top-tier teams. Now, are they making them play top-tier teams because they're trying to sabotage her? Of course not. The reason Caitlin Clark is facing top-tier teams in the league is because they want a good start with the ratings, right? Though you can talk shit about the overall ratings of the team, the point is the WNBA wants to promote their best players. They want to promote Breanna Stewart. They want to promote A'ja Wilson. That's why A'ja Wilson games are always following Caitlin Clark games, because they really want people to see her, and they should want people to see her. That girl is a fantastic basketball player. That A'ja Wilson is a fabulous basketball player, right? And you can't build a league just off of people watching one player, right? So that's why she's facing the Suns. They want people to see those players as well, and the best way is to forge those who come in to watch Caitlin and those who are already watching those top teams. Those top teams do have some, a fan base. So you bring those two together to get the maximum amount of, eyes on the game, right? So that's all that's about. That isn't about trying to make her look bad and make her struggle in the beginning by playing bad teams. No, she'll get it together. Tonight was good. I think they found a formula. Give her the ball, speed the tempo up, and let those other players get to where she is. And then players like Mitchell, you're going to have to lessen her minutes. Mitchell's a disaster. I know she scored 17, but she's a disaster. Maybe she just had a bad game tonight, man. I don't want to rag on her. I really don't. But she doesn't play well with Caitlin, and you got to make Caitlin a priority right now. That's just the way that works. So pretty much, man. Which something I don't mention a lot, man. Listen, man, if you like the content, subscribe, you know what I mean? And get with y'all later.